Okay, so here's another live troubleshooting call. Actually, this customer's air conditioning unit does not work. The plumber said that the AC and their furnace does not have power. So I'm going to try to do this live again, like I did, unedited, as much as possible. So I'm going to start here in the panel, and we're going to take a look at the voltage coming out of the circuits first, and then we'll take a look at the AC unit. So let's try it. Alright, so I'm going to take off this cover here, and so that's the lid. We're going to take off the dead front, which in this case there's no screw. Many times there's actually a screw or two which covers this little dead front, so you got to be careful because all this is all live in here. And it looks like we have a lot of old wiring and some newer wiring. So this home was probably built in the 50s because there's a lot of cloth wiring in here. And let's see what happens with our voltage. Because I'm not sure which breaker is feeding the unit. I'm actually going to test all of them just to see what I get. And let's see here. So there's my meter to the neutral. I'm just going to go down the line one by one on the breakers and see what I get for voltage. Alright, so there's 108 volts, 109 volts, 109 volts. Okay, so we're good there. I'm going to just check out of curiosity. There's a couple of 2-pole breakers in here. The main and, well, the main, it's not the main, so it's going to be this 2-pole 30 maybe. I'm going to check it for 240 volt here. So we have 220.1. Okay, so our voltage is good coming out of the panel, so everything's good. The problem is not in the panel. So we're going to take a look at the AC unit, which is around back here. And I think it's here somewhere. Yeah. So let me just... Okay, so this is our disconnected AC unit. And on the bottom here is a little LD, which is probably where the power is coming from, right here. So let's see what we got here. Yeah. Alright, let's see what we got. There might be some fuses in here. This is a pull-out. Alright. Take this little cover off. All right. So a non-fusible pullout, and what do we have here? Check this guy for voltage. So here we are on our. This is the ground. It looks like here, and. That should be our line side 110, that's good. Load side 110 is good. Line side 110 is good. Load side is good. And then let me just check for 240 volt. And I'm also going to check the pull out. It should actually disengage. And then I should have no voltage on the load side, so there's no voltage there. And for some reason I have power on the load side of this pull out, so there should not be power there. So maybe this thing is labeled wrong because there's no power on the line side. So it's something funny about this here. Let me see here. So this one is our load, nothing. That's our load. Okay, so yeah, this is just labeled funny. Okay, so there's nothing wrong there. Let me put this guy back in. Double check the power again. There's power, there's power, there's power, and there's power. Okay, so our power is good at the disconnect here. So we need to find out why this AC unit is not working. So I just got to trace this out. So this, let's see, here. So this comes down the liquid tight to here, and it goes to around to the other side of the unit. And let's see. Okay, so right here is where the AC unit is connected. It comes in here. So I'm going to take this cover off here. Let's see. I'm just going to set that right there for now. And there's a couple of screws on here. So this piece right here, this whole thing here, let me see if I can get a good view for you. This whole thing comes off. It'll be like the access panel inside, and we'll take a look. So we're basically just following the power. So if this unit's not coming on, something's not letting it come on. And we're just following to make sure the power is getting to where it needs to go. So the tenant also mentioned that there's no power at the furnace inside on the attic, as well as at the thermostat. Now, normally the thermostat does not have power. It just takes a millivolt off of the pilot, as far as the way I understand it. So let's see. This here is where our power comes in, and it goes up to here. So I'm going to take a look in here, and it looks like we have a little contactor. So let's find out. So this is what we're looking at there. All right. It's going to be hard to record and show you at the same time. So I'm going to test a couple of things in here. I expect to see power, and let's see what happens. So there's our ground and our line side, which is dead. And why is it dead? I traced it directly from that's interesting. Check my meter again. Ground. Okay, so it's probably just my meter. Okay, so there's one leg we have. A little bit of fluctuation. It might be this capacitor here. So there's voltage there. Okay, so we have voltage on both sides of this contactor. Load side is good, and so that's to the motor. It's got to be in the thermostat inside. There's power here. Oh, okay, so this contactor is not working for some reason. Okay, so we have power on the line side of the contactor. The load side of the contactor has 120 on one leg, 120 on the other leg. But across the two, there is no power, which is interesting. Okay, so but if there's a manual, I wonder if this contactor. So you can probably hear that. That's the unit running there. Okay, so it's It's just this coil here. This is a starting capacitor. Alright, so let me see. Let's see if I can try to show you what I'm looking at here. Alright, so how am I going to do this? Okay. Okay, so here's the line side. This is power coming in. So that's 220 there, that's good. And then this is power to the unit. It's not getting through here, but when I depress this, the unit starts. So looks like this capacitor might be bad. I'll let them know that their AC guy can probably replace that. I think that's about it. So that's about all I can do, except for what the stuff that the AC guy will do. So that's about it for now. My job's done. Time for the HVAC or the plumbing guy to finish up. Okay, so there's one other thing. I'm looking at this contactor, and its control circuit is a 24 volt AC control circuit, and when I test it, I'm not getting any voltage. So yeah, so it's probably that control circuit. And I think this comes from the thermostat inside, best as I can tell. So there is power there. Yeah, so there is power there though. So some of this starts to get into an area that I'm not familiar with, like the control and the low voltage side, the HVAC control side of the air conditioning unit. So as far as I know, it's just a thermostat issue, but the HVAC guy was out here and he said it was electrical. So I don't want to just pawn it off back onto him again. So the tenant's not home. I'm gonna have to return probably tomorrow when they're here to take a look at the rest of it inside and kind of dig into a little further into the thermostat or the furnace up in the attic, just so I can pinpoint the specific issue before I have them call the HVAC guy back out again. So that's about all I can do for today. I know that the power is good, so electrical is fine. It's not specifically an electrical issue, so we'll see what we can do, and we'll return tomorrow and take a look at it again. So I just went from trying to figure out what's going on to 90% sure I know what the problem is here. We're about to find out. Check this out. Do you see what I see? I'm in an awkward position, otherwise I'd get closer, but so there's a fuse here. This is a 15 amp fuse. It's overrated for what's required. I'm going to unscrew it and leave it here for the HVAC guy. It only requires an 8 amp fuse. But I'm going to disconnect it so that we know, because we know there's power here, at least he can come back and test it. And then we'll figure out how to get the fuse later on. Yeah. did what we could, all the electrical stuff, as far as we could, and at this point it's inside the AC unit, so